In today's video, I'm diving into my flagship template, the Productive Brain 2.0. This is by far the best second brain that you're ever going to come across in Notion. And I say that with confidence because it took me months to build, and not only does it look good aesthetically, but it also functions the way that your brain functions. It's the perfect companion for processing, planning, and taking action on tasks. It also has a Zettelkasten-like sorting system that helps you sort your bookmarks and notes better than ever. If you want to access this template, you can click the link in the description. That will take you to a landing page where you can purchase this template and use it yourself. I will say this template is not cheap, and there's a reason for that. It's absolutely changed my life, and I've been using it for months. I've also put tons of work into this, and I do lots of support, and I'm adding features constantly. So with that being said, if this template is just too pricey for you, that's why I've created 60 plus completely free educational tutorials on YouTube on how to use Notion. If you watch through those 3 years of videos that I created and you're dedicated, I have confidence that you can build this exact system if you watch those videos and then come back here and just try to replicate building it. Now, for those of you who came for the template and you want to see this thing, let's get into it. This is my homepage, and this is where I start every single day in Notion. It has a handy quick capture module, which allows me to quickly add new tasks, notes, and bookmarks to the system. So if I wanted to add a new task, I would just hit new, and then I could quickly give it a name. Film Productive Brain Walkthrough. I don't have to fill any of this out because later I'm going to process this task using my processing routine. So it's that quick to add a task to this system. There's a similar workflow with notes and bookmarks. So if I wanted to add a note, I would just hit new, and here I could quickly start jotting down my note. Again, you don't have to add any properties right now. I just have to start adding my notes, and then later on, I can come back and I can process these. The beauty of this system is that if you have a fleeting thought throughout the day and you don't want to lose something, but you also don't want to get distracted, you're going to be able to quickly capture it and move on with the rest of your day. You can even use the Notion app on your phone to install Notion widgets that allow you to quickly access the quick capture module. So if I'm on the go, I'm at the grocery store, or I'm at a meeting or something like that, and then all of a sudden I have a thought that comes to mind or an action item that needs to get added to my list, I can quickly add it, and then I can move on, come back to my computer later, and process that. The next section over is today's plan. Here I can open up my to-do list, and this is just going to show me what I have planned for today. So pretty much just filming a bunch of different videos. Once I complete something, I just click here on status, and I can mark it as complete, and it will disappear from my to-do list. And then I'll see that I only have a few things left here to do. It even has this nice sorting setup where I can sort by priority levels. My priority levels within the system are meeting, quick task, priority 1, 2, and 3. Priority 1, 2, and 3 are reserved for basically just the general deep work that I would do throughout the day. Whereas quick tasks are things that take like 5 minutes that I want to do first, and meetings take precedence over everything because these are time restrained. These are going to get ranked above everything if they share a time with any of these other priorities. I'm going to bring back my action since I'm not done with it yet. The next section that you'll notice is habits. Here I can toggle open my habits and close my to-do list. And throughout the day, as I complete my habits, like I've completed my workout here, I can check them off. Once I'm done drinking my 60 plus ounces of water, I can check that off. And then once I'm done with my process and plan routines, I can check this off. I'm going to leave those unchecked for now because I haven't completed those things for today. Now let's close habits. And finally, we have tracking. Tracking is great. It helps me track my sleep hours, my sleep score, and my readiness score. And admittedly, you guys are seeing me on one of my worst sleep days in a long time, but I have to showcase this and be honest with you guys. I only got 5 hours of sleep last night, and my Aura Ring scores were pretty garbage. Anyways, when you set this up, you can track whatever you want here if you do install the Productive Brain. You can track calories, hours worked, whatever you want to track within this system. I mainly focus on sleep. And then here we have highs and lows. These are the things that went well and the things that went poorly. So here I can quickly just tap into this area and I can add a high. So things that went well. I completed my Notion walkthrough. Might be something that I would be excited about. I'm not going to enter it because that isn't something that I've completed yet, but I could enter something that went well, and then I could enter something that went poorly here, or you can enter multiple items for the day. Now, the beauty of today's plan is it automatically switches the day so that I don't have to come in here and do manual work within Notion. Since it's January 30th today, I'm going to see my habits for today. I'm going to see my metrics for today. And I'm going to see my to-do list items that are set for today. The system does it all in the background, and sometimes it feels like I'm not even using Notion because there's such little work involved compared to other systems that I've tested out. The next section down is my bookmarks. So these are helpful links that I pin, such as Trueflation, which is an inflation tracker. Also the Notion updates page. So I can quickly click this link here and I can see all of Notion's latest updates. And then I have Focus Music, which is Brain FM. If I don't just want to see pinned bookmarks, but I want to see everything, I could click on this tab and I can see all of my bookmarks. The next section down is topics. Topics serve as folders for my notes. So any notes that I take right here or any bookmarks that I create, they can get stored into topics. So if I go to my all topics most popular, opposed to my pinned topics, I can see all of my topics ranked by which ones have the most notes and bookmarks within them. So clients is definitely the most popular topic or popular folder in the knowledge management system. And this is what I'm referring to with the Zettelkasten setup, right? It's like these drawers of information that you can access. And within them, you can see different important things. Like if I go to self-improvement, for instance, it's going to give me all of my notes that are related to self-improvement. I can load even more by clicking this button right here. And I'll also see bookmarks that are related to self-improvement, like my Focus Music bookmark I was just telling you guys about. If I wanted to pin this topic, I would just hit pin this topic, and it would show up right in my pinned topics. I also have an alphabetical view, so I can view my topics alphabetically. As we move down the page, you'll notice that we have a few menus here. We have our routine views, which are these carefully curated areas that I've set up in Notion that help me do just what they say. The focus view helps me focus. Plan does nothing but help me plan. Process is a place for processing all of the information that gets added into the quick capture throughout the day or anywhere else in the system. And it updates real time based on things like due dates and action dates. And then we have reflect, which is a place where I can go back and I can look at all of this on different timescales. So I can see, okay, how did I do last month? What were my averages for my metrics? How many tasks did I get completed? Those sorts of things. And then Calibrate is the page where I set my sails. It's where I figure out what my North Star is, and then I can start marching towards it. So think goals, big picture areas of your life, things like that. I can also set a focus statement here so that when I have my boots on the ground and I'm doing my focus page on a daily basis, I can see that focus statement every single day. Now I'm going to dive into these pages individually, but first I want to talk about the databases menu. The databases menu is made up of all of the databases that run this system. So you can think of the routine views as ways to interact with these databases that are more seamless and less confusing. And these databases are kind of just like the back end moving pieces of the system. So here's a good way to think about how this all comes together when it comes to the databases. The first three databases, areas, goals, and actions, are linked up to the task system. And areas are ways to categorize your goals. Goals are ways to categorize your actions. So this system works really well at figuring out what the few areas in your life are that you want to focus on, and then seeing what's most important to you throughout this system, and also being able to see what you're actually doing in terms of goals, what your deadlines are, and you can then sort your actions into those goals and plan them on a daily basis based on when your deadlines are coming up. So it's an amazing system for getting things done and working fast. My work throughput has just completely shot up ever since implementing this task system. I'm able to hone in and focus, and I'm feeling more clarity than ever before. Next, you'll notice that there's these blue boxes that are a little spaced out. We have the days database, then we have highs and lows that I've referred to before, the things that are going good, the things that are going bad. Now with the days setup, you're able to access some properties within your days, both those checkbox habits that I showed you and also your metrics. And days are related to your highs and your lows, which can be found down here at the bottom of your databases menu. Now, lastly, we have the knowledge management system, and it's quite simple really. It's just topics that sort bookmarks and notes. And you can pin these topics in the forefront. You can also pin your bookmarks in the forefront when you need to access something specific. You want to be able to just click a link from your Notion homepage and just go straight there. Topics I've found often align with different goals that you have. So a goal that you might have might be building a software, and then you might have a topic on software engineering. Or for instance, for a while I had a goal on completing this template, the Productive Brain 2.0, and I had a topic with different customer information that was sent in, different comments, different things that people were saying about the Productive Brain so that I could make it the best possible system. And I had that topic pinned for that time. Next, I'm going to give you a bird's eye view of the routines menu. And you'll notice that there's this intricate dance going on here with routines. Everything has its own place and time to be used. And what I've done is I've put this into a diagram that makes it easier to understand. Now, this is the routine views triangle. And at the bottom, we have breadth, right? We have the big picture. And at the top, we have focus, the honed in view of your life. So I suppose we should start with Calibrate, because Calibrate is where you set the initial conditions. That's this page here in the routines menu. So this is the Calibrate page, and it has all of the areas in my life, which are actually quite limited. I try to keep this a very small number if possible, because the less things that you have a hand in, the more effective that you'll be at them. So I have 3 companies in here: Productive Dude, Humways, and 36 Lakes, kind of contradicting what I just said about doing less. But I'm trying to cut things down, and you guys wouldn't believe how much I've already cut down out of my life areas in having this system. It's really helped me to prioritize the things that matter. And then I also have real estate, because I've purchased a couple buildings over the past few years, and I'm really trying to start building up my real estate portfolio. I don't want to be a huge real estate investor, but it's something that I'm interested in. It's something that I really have some big goals around. And then we have a personal area, because everyone has personal tasks. A health area, because everyone has to look out for their health. Family and friends, because that's the most important thing. Of course, only behind God, so I have spiritual as well. This finance area here helps me make sure that I'm staying on top of the money. I have a hobby area, but I haven't really used it a lot because, to be honest with you guys, business is my hobby and working on this YouTube channel is my hobby. So that's why you might not see much of this area in my Calibrate section. And we also have self-improvement. I figured that it would be good to create a self-improvement area for when I'm trying to have goals around learning a new skill or doing something outside of these businesses. As I scroll down here, you'll notice that I have some goals with a clear end result. And I also have some ongoing goals. So the difference between clear end result goals and ongoing goals is, well, ongoing goals don't have a deadline. These are just constant pursuits within my life. Things like administrative real estate items, developing my personal brand, generating sponsorships, spending time with family. It's a constant, taking care of my physical and mental health. And I have things in here like car maintenance and keeping my living space clean. And then up here, you'll see that we have some goals sorted by how many days I have left. I have 10 days left to complete my launch of productivedude.com. So if I click into this goal, for instance, you'll notice here that I have some actions related to it. I also have this nice drawing down here of what I have in mind for the website, and I have a time frame. I started this back on December 1, and my end date for this is February 10th. And as you can see, there's just more and more goals that go further and further out. I have 334 days left to reach 100,000 subscribers, so please hold me accountable, guys, and subscribe if you're not already. I'm going to close these goal tabs. I don't have a ton of completed goals because I've been using this system for about 2 months in full swing now, but I do have some completed goals in here. I had a goal to reach 25,000 subscribers. We absolutely crushed it, thanks to you guys. I've completed the Second Brain 2.0, which took months. And I mean, for a Notion template, guys, like this thing took forever to perfect. So I was pretty proud to check this one off. Then I also transitioned out of my old apartment complex. So that was a big goal that I had, moving. Here I can kind of see my completed goals, which is quite nice. I can even click into some of these goals and I can see all of the actions that made it possible. And at the very bottom here, you can set your focus statement. So this is the guiding statement that just keeps you in line, keeps you on track throughout the day. I opted for a Bible verse because I've been feeling really connected to this verse lately. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Right? That just gives you that extra edge when you can see your focus statement, something that motivates you, something that keeps you going on your focus page, which we'll get to soon. But anyways, this is the Calibrate page. We have these nice little animated banners that I custom created just for this. So not only is it aesthetically pleasing, but as you guys can see, it's also a functional way to plan and guide yourself in the right direction. The next page in the menu is the reflect page. Now, the reflect page is a way that you can actually look into the past. And this page doesn't have much merit until you get into using this system. In fact, I didn't even implement the reflect page at first because I didn't realize that I would need a way to reflect. When I was first starting out, I just had calibrate, process, plan, and focus. And then late in the development of Productive Brain 2.0, I added reflect because I was starting to get into using this thing. And I was thinking, yes, I'm planning for the future. I'm processing, planning, and focusing in the present, but I don't have a good way to look back on the past. I mean, plan was helping me do that in a sense, but it was only helping me see what I needed to move back into the future or move into the present. Whereas reflect is a way to truly go back and analyze past actions, metrics, and habits that have happened throughout your time using the system. So if I click into this reflect routine view, you'll notice that I have 2 tab drop downs here. I have yesterday, which is quite nice. It just shows me everything that I did yesterday. Got a lot done in terms of the real estate area of my life yesterday, doing some good manual labor. I didn't touch on many of these habits. The only thing I did was process and plan, unfortunately, but I'm usually not as hard on myself on the weekends, so that is something to consider as well. I sometimes don't get all of my water in or a 45-minute workout in. In fact, working out 45 minutes per day is something that I've never really been consistent with on the weekends. Usually this is something that I leave scrutiny for on the weekdays. As you can see, my sleep scores were much better yesterday than they were today. 281s for my scores, and then my sleep hours was 7.5, which is pretty good. And I have some highs listed out. I'm feeling amazing about 2023 so far, and productive brain sales are still popping even after our price range has gone up a bit. And my lows for yesterday, I had some minor shortness of breath, and I think it was pretty much just due to anxiety, just getting a little bit overloaded. And I've been trying to track this trend, to be honest, guys. I've been trying to track to see when I'm having different symptoms or anything like that, and if it's related to my sleep. And over a long enough time span, I can see some very interesting trends. If I go into all archives, I'd be able to see that just by going all archives. I'm going to have actions blurred out because there are some things in here that I don't want to necessarily show to you guys, but I completed 40 actions within Q4 month 12. So that's December of 2022. Now we're almost done with quarter 1, month 1 of 2023. And as you can see here, I've already completed 87 actions. So I'm on a roll and my productivity is only going up. Next, I have this highs and lows tab. Again, I'm going to have these blurred out because I'm not comfortable showing a lot of this stuff, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want to be too transparent here, beyond my comfort. But here you can see a daily review of all of your highs and lows month by month. So it's really nice view. The next tab is metrics and habits. And here I can get my averages. So again, we're in Q4 month 12. So I can see my averages for hours slept. So I'm averaging 7.1 hours per night, almost 7.2, averaging a 74.6 sleep score and averaging a 76 readiness score. Well, at least this was for December. I processed and planned 53% of the days, worked out 42%, and drank 60 plus ounces of water 30% of the days. As you can see, as I've used this system going into Q1 month 1, my stats have improved. So looking back here, working out 42% of days this year, and in January, I'm working out 50% of the days. I'm also drinking water about 13% more than I was back here in December. And processing and planning has pretty much stayed the same, actually. It's gone down a little bit. 53% though, I'm holding pretty strong on that average. I can notice from this trend that I am getting more efficient with my sleep, which matters a lot to me. Overall, this reflect page has been a great addition to the Productive Brain 2.0. And once you get using this thing, this is a great way to look back at what you've completed, what's gone well, and also to look back and see where you could improve for the coming months. It's quite handy, actually. All of these routine views have the routine view menu on the side, so you can toggle between them. And you can also go back to home here by clicking this quick link. The next routine view that I'm going to look at is the process routine view. And this is right in the middle of this hierarchy here. Processing is super important to keeping this system running efficiently, but thankfully I've set this up in such a way that it's seamless and it tells you exactly what you need to do. I didn't add this processing routine just to give you more stuff to do in Notion. I added this processing routine because it saved me a ton of time. Before, I would add tasks or notes to Notion and I would have to make sure that all of the properties were just right. And if they weren't, they would get lost in the future. But with the process routine, I'm able to come back to them later and quickly just fill them out when I have time. And this is part of a routine that I do once a day that's called processing and planning. So first I process, I organize all of my captured thoughts or things that need processing in a sense. And then I go and I reprioritize and I load balance with my plan view. So I kind of ping pong between the routine views of plan and process. So these kind of go together, but they are still separate pages because they are two somewhat different activities. But next I'm going to demo the plan and process page so you can see what my daily routine looks like with planning and processing. At the end of the day, I'll head over to my process page. And here I'll see any uncategorized goals that I've added, which I don't have any new goals, but if I did, I'll show you what they would look like. I can open it up and it gives me a checklist for creating this goal. And then finally, once I'm done with all of these checkboxes, I check that last one and I delete this little goal checklist. And as you can see, we started with a goal in here, but we don't have a goal in here anymore because everything that needs to be sorted about it is sorted. We have a goal type, we have a goal area, and because the goal type was ongoing, we didn't need a time frame. If it was a clear end result, it would still be here because it still needs a time frame. Until it has all the proper information, it doesn't leave the process page. And trust me, this system is a well-oiled machine when you're truly utilizing the process page. But what I've effectively done with creating this processing page is I've siloed off the activity of processing throughout your day. And that's what makes it a true second brain. It remembers the things that you're not good at remembering to do. And by the way, that's no knock on you. Humans are just generally bad at remembering these sorts of things. It's much better to offload those tasks to a computer that has no problem doing it. The next section of process is process notes. So here I see that I have a script for productive brain and all that this needs is a topic. So once I have a topic selected for it, just type in productive and I think I have productive brain. I'll add it to that. It'll disappear. I could also add a source if I wanted, but a source isn't required for it to disappear, only a topic. So this is just a way of organizing your notes. Next up, we have task processing. So I'm going to see all of my tasks that need info, all of my past due tasks, and all of my tasks that need a rescheduled action date. So that's the thing, guys, is we have a due date and an action date. Action date is the day you plan on doing something, and a due date is the day that it's due. Since these tasks here don't really have much info at all, they're still going to show up in needs info. But let's add a due date for film productive brain walkthrough. Let's imagine our due date is today. It'll automatically say due today. And let's give ourselves an action date of today as well, and a priority level of Pri 1, because this is the first thing that we want to do. And then I can relate it to a goal. So here I can either type in a new goal, or I can type in productive, and I can see improve and maintain productive dude, or I could type in 100K, and I could click on my reach 100K subs. You also may notice that you have some blank tasks in here that you've accidentally added throughout the day. If you didn't mean to add those, I would just delete them at this point. It's a good way to filter out incomplete information that clouds your database. The next one that I see is create menus for LLBH. So for this one, I want to show an example of what if the due date was in the past. So if the due date was in the past, let's say on the 29th, it would show up in past due and it would tell you how many days it's past due. Just to show you that, if it was due on January 4th, it would be 26 days past due. So now let's set the action date for the past. 18th perhaps, and so the due date for the future. And you'll notice since the due date is in the future now and the action date is in the past, it's going to show up under reschedule action. So reschedule action date. And why is that? Because the action date is in the past. So how are you going to complete something if it's in the past? So this is a great way of catching anything that slipped through the cracks. And sometimes you just forgot to hit complete. So if that's the case, if you already completed it in the past, then you would click here, you'd leave the action date how it is, and you'd hit complete. But if you didn't complete it yet, you'd change the action date for a future date. So I'm going to set mine for the 31st. And now we still need some info. We need a goal. So I'm going to set this for the proper goal. And now processing tasks is done. It's as simple as that. This is automatically going to get us to inbox 0, and it's going to tell us exactly what this task needs for information so that the system can better utilize it. Just scrolling down here, you'll notice that we also have process bookmarks. So if you have any bookmarks that you quick captured and they're missing information, then they'll show up right here. You need a URL and a topic for each bookmark. Now, pro tip, if you don't want to put things into their own predefined topic and you're having a hard time coming up with topics, you can also create a topic that's just called general. And that will allow you to still bookmark and add notes, and they can just be under the topic of general if you can't think of something that they fit into. It's important to note that these systems are separate, the knowledge management system and the task management system. They're completely separate, but they work alongside each other in this system. So as I said, processing is the first thing I do on a daily basis, and then I go over to plan. So this is the planning view, and you'll notice that there's nothing in the past on the planning view. That's because I processed well. Remember when I rescheduled the action date, right? Remember when we had something in the past, say on the 17th, over on process, it shows up as reschedule action, then we reschedule the action date to the future, or we hit complete on it, whatever it might be. Well, that is what you need to do to keep organized on plan, because you can't do anything in the past. When I see that people aren't utilizing this and I see things in the past, I mean, I was there at one point as well, where I had a bunch of stuff in the past on my calendar, but you need to have things planned into the future if you actually want to complete them. And if you're not going to complete them, that's okay. Just delete them off of your list or add them to your archive. For instance, if I'm not going to complete this ever and it keeps getting moved around my calendar and it's never completed, and I think, is this really that important? Well, if it's not, just go to status and hit archive. It'll disappear. Or you can even go ahead and just delete this task. Now, if you don't have a plan for a day to complete something, but you know it needs to get completed in the future, then I recommend using the back burner function within this system. And back burner is basically a backlog of tasks that you want to do in the future, but you just haven't done yet. So if I wanted to move film notion formulas to the back burner, I could just drag it over here to the back burner and it would save it in here for me. And then anything that I want to drag back in to the system, I can just drag it right back onto my to-do list and it conforms right in. You see that, how it snapped right into priority 2, right above priority 3, just how it was. There's also a stuck tab, which works the same way. I don't have any tasks that are stuck right now, but for instance, if you are waiting on something to get completed, you could drag it into stuck, just drag it right over top of this new icon and it will move it into stuck. You can also click on these new icons to add a task to your back burner or to add a new task to stuck. Now, as you can see here, tomorrow I have some meetings coming up. I have a quick task that I want to do. I have priority 1, 2, and 3. So tomorrow's pretty packed. If I get to the end of today and I haven't completed some of these things, I probably wouldn't drag them into tomorrow. I would drag them over to February 1 because that day is a little bit less busy. So if I don't think I'm going to be able to get through to these, then I'd just drag them over here, for instance. And you can really just drag things wherever you want them. You can click into these specifically, and you can change the priority level as well if you want to move it up the list. Again, meeting is the top priority. Quick task is next because it takes like no time. And then you have your deep work priorities, priority 1, 2, and 3. These are the big tasks that are really going to move the needle, but you can sort them by priority so that you can see them in here how you want to see them. So I try to change these things to fit and conform to what I want to do for that day. So when I'm planning, I just try to look out ahead at my week and drag things around a bit, think about what I want to be doing the next day. And then wherever things fall, wherever things end up, that's where focus comes in. And the focus view is at the top of that pyramid that I was showing you earlier. It's the daily boots on the ground work. So this view is going to show me just the actions that I have planned for today in that calendar. It's going to show me the goal that it's related to, the area that it's related to, so I can really see what matters and what I'm focused on right now. Obviously, productive dude. And they're sorted by priority level. As I check these things off or move them to my back burner or stuck, they disappear out of the action plan. And as you can see, I have my focus statement right here that I created on the Calibrate page. I'm going to go back home. And as you can see right here on the home page, we also have to do, which is today's plan. We have habits, which I showed you in the beginning, which you can fill out. We have tracking. I spend a lot of time on my home page, but if I'm really trying to focus in and get something done, I open up focus on my second monitor. I've got Brain FM open in one tab. I've got focus open in the other. And then on my other monitor, I'll be doing the work for the day. This has been an all-encompassing demo of my second Brain 2.0. Again, if you want to build this yourself and you don't want to purchase the template, that's fine. But if your Notion skills aren't up to that level yet, then definitely check out my 60+ free Notion tutorials playlist. If you want to download it and configure this template for yourself, you can download it and you can watch the quick install guide that I've created to get this set up for a lifetime in under an hour. The other nice thing is you will get lifetime updates. So as I add updates to this system, you're going to have access to those as well if you purchase the template. All right, that's pretty good. I think I did a full synopsis of the system. So until next time, we'll see you guys. Thanks for watching.